we'll have our exchanges, of course, with our leaders as witnesses to this momentous occasion. Thank you very much. May now give the opportunity for the Honorable Prime Minister to deliver his statement to us this afternoon.
Namaste to everyone who's listening in and fellow countrymen. I'm using countrymen deliberately. If I use Fijians, you might feel left out. No, Fijians includes everyone in Fiji. I'm pleased to join the Minister for External Affairs of India, the Honorable Subramaniam Jaishankar, at this press conference to update you on some of the key outcomes of the bilateral meeting we had this morning. It recently concluded. I'd like to extend the government and the people of Fiji's heartfelt appreciation to the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Modi, and the government of India for their incredible support in co-hosting the 12th World Hindi Conference here in Fiji. Well, I was fortunate to have been there last night and to see that joint effort that we, a very small part of it, and the Republic of India co-hosting that great conference. I also convey my sincere appreciation to Minister Jaishankar for his first official visit to our shores for the inauguration of the World Hindi Conference and the important deliberations we have pursued here while here in Fiji. We are pleased to say that this is the first high-level visit from the government of India in almost a decade since Prime Minister Modi visited Fiji in 2014. Honorable Minister, your visit to our shores symbolizes the warm and long-standing friendly relationship and mutual respect we have for one another, and goodwill and strong people-to-people ties shared between our two nations. We also share a profound history, which began when the first indentured laborers arrived here on our shores in 1879. The immense contributions of the indentured laborers and their descendants towards nation building for Fiji will be forever cherished. And in honor of the many sacrifices made by those who have become known as Girmitiers in Fiji, the People's Coalition Government has declared a Girmit Day as a national public holiday in Fiji, and it will be celebrated for the first time this year. It's yet another day where we will get to commemorate the special cultural links that we have shared for generations. I'm pleased to say India will always be a special friend and trusted partner to Fiji. Together, we have built a robust, multifaceted partnership which covers cooperation in all major areas of nation building, including agriculture, education, health, climate change, and development of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, with a special focus on training, capacity building, and capability development. India has stood by us in times of great need. We worked shoulder to shoulder to overcome the challenges posed by the climate crises that we now face and recently COVID-19 pandemic. For this, we are forever grateful to the government and the people of India for supporting us through the provision of life-saving vaccines, humanitarian assistance, among other initiatives in our collective efforts to build back better from that global challenge and the other challenges. Today's meetings signify a landmark achievement in our shared commitment to advance Fiji and India cooperation at all levels. It focused on prospects for greater cooperation in the post-pandemic era. There are enormous opportunities for increased collaboration in shared goals and common on our common interest in economic prosperity, climate resilience, peace and security, and sustainable development. I note with enthusiasm the positive discussions we had today to further advance mutual cooperation in the key areas of development, notably in health, education, infrastructure, renewable energy, the sugar industry, to name just a few. Fiji also appreciates India's commitment towards the development of our Pacific region through the collective priorities enshrined in the 2050 strategy for Blue Pacific continent. We are more resolved now than ever to build a strong and sustainable future for the families in Fiji, Pacific, and beyond. A step toward achieving this goal will be the signing of the Fiji and India our memorandum of understanding. We just had the exchange of the visa requirements for holders and of diplomatic and official passports. That, Excellency, represents a milestone achievement in building stronger connectivity for people of both the nations. It will bolster economic opportunities in trade, tourism, business, and investment. On behalf of the Government of Fiji, I thank the Government of India for the realization of this important cooperation. I'm confident that we will witness many more of such initiatives unfolding through deepening of our cooperation. Fiji is keen to host such high-level conferences and events like the 12th World Hindi Conference, which promotes and celebrates the celebration of the Hindi language in the world and its culture, Hindi culture, in the world and in the future. And I was proud to have my minister on the floor of Parliament today speaking in Hindi for the first time in our recent history. I take this opportunity also to congratulate India on its successful candidature for the G20 presidency. This is a grand opportunity for our two nations to work collaboratively to mitigate the global challenges and build sustainable future for all. In closing, I once again thank the Government of India and the people of India for your continued support for Fiji. Not only Fiji and the Pacific region. I look forward to welcoming my dear friend, Prime Minister Modi, back to Fiji in a time convenient to him and also to visit him if he would like to invite me. Don't say that to him. My best wishes to the Honorable Minister and his delegation as you continue with your deliberations here in Suva. We look forward to welcoming similar high-level visits between our two nations in the future. May God continue to bless our nations as we commit to working together for the well-being and the development not only of our people but of the world. In our way.
Prime Minister, Your Excellency, Mr. Sitiveni Rabuka, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Nisa Bula Benaka, good afternoon to you all. Prime Minister, let me say what a pleasure it is to visit your beautiful country. This is my first visit, and I assure you what little I've seen will certainly bring me back again. It's also a particular pleasure to be with all of you because India and Fiji, we share such close and friendly ties rooted in our historical linkages with such strong cultural similarities. So I really thank you today for receiving me and my delegation at Suva. Yesterday, Prime Minister, you were also very generous with your time in hosting us at the evening function of the World Hindi Conference. That conference was inaugurated by His Excellency Ratu William Katonivere, President of Fiji. And I would like to take this occasion to really publicly and sincerely thank the Government of Fiji for partnering with us on this very important cultural and I would say heritage exercise we do regularly. And I can really share with you the feeling of all the delegates that the arrangements which were made were truly exceptional. In my visit to Suva today, the Prime Minister has been good enough to spend time with me and my delegation. We've interacted with him and his cabinet colleagues. I will, time permitting, briefly visit the Girmit Gallery in the Fiji Museum. Yesterday, I also had an opportunity to visit the Sri Siva Subramaniam Swami Temple at Nandi, and I look forward to meeting members of the Diaspora in Fiji later at the High Commission. In terms of our discussion with the Prime Minister and his senior colleagues today, we reviewed our bilateral ties. We discussed very openly the possibility of adding to its substance, of improving its quality, and there were some specific domains which the Prime Minister in his remarks referred to. This morning, I also had the honor of calling on His Excellency the President of the State House. We launched the solarization of the Pacific Heads of State Residences project, which is supported by the Government of India, and the State House in Suva was the first location where we've actually seen this fructified. This project reflects India's strong commitment to climate action, to climate justice. It is also underlining our shared priorities with Pacific Islands on this very important challenge of climate change. We also just signed and exchanged the visa waiver agreement. It will certainly be helpful in encouraging greater travel between our two countries. And I would also say the experience of the World Hindi Convention would also surely enthuse all the delegates and their friends and relatives, of which I'm sure there are many, to come to Fiji as well. So, friends, India and Fiji have close and long-standing ties, and I think a large part of that is really built on our people-to-people linkages. We have been privileged to partner Fiji in its nation-building efforts across various sectors, in working with it in capacity building, in areas like health, education, agriculture. We've done projects in the sugarcane industry. We have worked together in renewable energy. And I think today one part of our discussion looked at areas like IT, support for medium and small enterprises. So there is really a very, very substantive bilateral agenda before us. In a region that is prone to natural disasters, India has also stood with Fiji in difficult times. We've been a first responder on certain occasions. And during COVID, in line with our what we call our Vaccine Maitri initiative, Vaccine Friendship initiative, Fiji was recipient of 100,000 doses of vaccine in March 2021, and we are truly pleased at the recovery that we see in Fiji, and it's something that we regard as something which is very good for the global economy. Again, reflecting our unique demand-driven development partnership approach, we are very pleased to work on high-impact community projects in Fiji. I think some of these have contributed to transforming the quality of life of communities here. We certainly look forward to doing more of that in the coming days. Today we discussed regional and global issues of shared interest. We agreed to work more closely towards strengthening our multilateral cooperation, working strongly in international organizations. We particularly focused on the Pacific region because, again, India sees Fiji as a very important partner in the Indo-Pacific. We hope to co-host the third summit of the Forum of India-Pacific Islands Cooperation, FIPIC, in the coming months, and we would certainly value Fiji's presence and leadership on that occasion. So let me conclude by emphasizing that we are very confident of our long-standing relations between our two countries. I am very assured after discussions with the Prime Minister that this relationship will scale greater heights, that it would deliver to the mutual benefit of our peoples, and that our expectations of this relationship would be fully realized. Thank you very much. Vinaka Bakale.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Because time has caught up with us once again, you know, Prime Ministers and Ministers also go hungry. So we will have to take them across to where the lunch is hosted. But we will have allow for two questions, maybe one for the Honourable Prime Minister and one for the Honourable Minister. We'll start with Shayal from Fiji Times.
Bulavinaka, my question is for Minister Jaishankar. So, as you have mentioned in your remarks earlier, that one of the industries that will be assisted through bilateral cooperation is the sugar industry in Fiji. So, just want to bring to your notice that in 2015, there was a LOC agreement signed between Exim Bank and Fiji Sugar Corporation for $70 million in financing of the upgrade of the sugar mills and rail networks. But unfortunately, this deal was annulled because FSC did not provide the required documents. So just my question to you, is there any possibility that the government of India will explore this? And if the request comes from Fiji to provide financing for the upgrade of the infrastructure, will that be considered? Thank you.
You know, my understanding of the sugarcane domain is a little bit different than that suggested by your question. Because I think we have actually cooperated in the modernization and the working of sugarcane industry in this country. I know that we have provided equipment under the line of credit. I know that much of it is working. I do understand that the industry as a whole has some challenges. That is something that we have actively discussed today. All I can say at this stage is we do realize the importance of this industry to Fiji's economy, and certainly that is something that will shape our further policy.
Prime Minister Rabuka, with regards to the waiver of visas for citizens of both of our countries going back and forth, we understand that it has a lot of benefits, especially when we get a lot of Indian nationals coming to work in the industries where we have skills shortage. How do you see this benefiting Fijians traveling the other way?
We have from our point of view, there's a lot of Fiji travelers going to India, for medical treatment, for education, and those things. We will benefit. We will certainly benefit. The scale may differ, but proportionately, probably the same or more Fiji benefit.
Prime Minister, did the two of you discuss China at all in your bilaterals?
Is that for the Prime Minister or for me?
For both of you, sir, but I'd like your answer.
I think we thought it was bad manners to talk about somebody who was not in the building. We spoke about our own cooperation, and we're very fortunate to have such a great power and economy talking to us. And you probably remember that in an interview I did with you and other media personnel some time ago, I emphasized the strengthening the further strengthening of the relationship we have with India. And as I said then, we have great old friends. Really no need to look for new friends. But there are no real new friends in this region. We have been friends with India, we've been friends with China. We'll continue our relationship.